Our special guest this evening will be UFC veteran Krzysztof Soszynski.
All right, Krzysztof, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic, guys. Thank you so much for having me. I'm at the Los Angeles Poker Championships. I like to play poker quite a bit, and I'm over here playing in a pretty big tournament, just having a good time hanging out, letting my knees heal from all the surgeries and my nose heal from the surgeries. So just having some fun.
Wow.
Have you ever been in any of those Bruce Buffer poker tournaments then at the UFC likes to hold?
You know what? I'm going to be there actually this weekend, and Bruce invited me out to one of his tournaments. I'm looking forward to it. It's this Friday night at 6:45 at his poker club. At his poker room and at the Luxor, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Very cool. Have you ever won any big stakes in any of those tournaments?
I haven't been playing too long. I've only been playing for a short period of time. Just still learning. I don't play big stakes or anything like that. Just a few dollars here and there. I've won my share, a little bit of money online, a little bit here and there, and I've won a couple. I played a lot of cash games here and there. So I won a few times, but not a major tournament yet.
Of course, that's not as big as a gamble as getting in the octagon and fighting, but we understand that before you became a UFC fighter, you also did a little professional wrestling.
Yeah, true. Right before I got into mixed martial arts, I did some professional wrestling across Canada, up north, and did it for about a year and a half. Trained with a couple of guys who've been around for quite a while. Tony Condello, who's well known up north in Canada and across Canada, and Cyrus the Virus used to be from the WCW days and ECW days. So it was a lot of fun for me. I had a blast doing it, and I had a chance to train with Bad News Brown in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And when I went down there, he showed me how to do a Kimura and how to do an armbar. I got immediately hooked, quit wrestling that day, and took up mixed martial arts as I headed home to Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada.
Now, were there any promotions up there when you quit pro wrestling? Like, were you able to latch on to a promotion right away?
As far as mixed martial arts or wrestling?
Mixed martial arts.
There was quite a bit. There was quite a few. A lot of the small little local shows here and there. Nothing in Winnipeg yet, as far as where I'm from. But you drive down about 8 hours or so, or take a quick flight quite over to Alberta or Quebec, and there's plenty of promotions. I started fighting for the TKO organization out of Quebec, which was probably one of the biggest promotions up there a few years back, and won the title with them, and that kind of got me into the door, and that's where I met Sean Tompkins and Bad News Brown. Sean Tompkins and Boss Rutan, and we kind of just took off from there.
Now, I have to ask this question. Being from Canada myself, I'm actually right now I'm in Ottawa. Did you grow up a Winnipeg Jets fan, or is there a different hockey team you were a fan of growing up?
Oh, definitely. I used to actually work at the Winnipeg Arena for many years. I started when I was like 13, walking up the stand, selling Pepsi and Cokes and selling popcorn and stuff like that, yelling all that out during the game. So I grew up with the Jets. I was never a huge hockey fan growing up because I grew up in Poland and stuff, and hockey wasn't very popular up there. But once I got to Canada, I had a chance to work there and get to meet some of the players, and got a lot of autographs from them and pictures, and it was a lot of fun working with them, and I cheered them on big time when they were playing, for sure.
All right. Well, now you mentioned having grown up in Poland as well. How long were you there, and how long was it before you came to Canada?
I was born and raised in Poland. When I was 10 years old, Poland at the time was still under the communist regime. A little tough times, waiting in line for bread and then for groceries. Everything was on food stamps. It was pretty tough times, but my parents decided that it was time to kind of move on and see if we can get out of here and live the American dream. And my dad flew out to Italy first, and then from Italy head over to Canada. And then once he got his citizenship here, about 2 years after, my mom, my brother, and I got sponsored by my dad, and we flew over to Winnipeg, and we lived there for about 20 years.
Yeah, and listening to you, I really hear a Canadian accent as opposed to a Polish one. So obviously you've become fully Canadian since you moved.
No, for sure. I lost my Polish accent about 5 years in. I wish I had it still because it used to sound really cool. But I got a little bit more of the Canadian accent now. So although in Poland, when I go there, I visited back many times. I have a pretty strong American accent to when I speak Polish there. So it's a lot of fun.
Now, was it professional wrestlers that you worked with that dubbed you the Polish Experiment, or was that something that happened when you got into MMA?
That happened kind of like my very first week when I got into MMA. Back in the day before I got into professional wrestling, I was a bodybuilder for a while. So I got up to like 318 pounds, solid muscle. I was a big boy. So, we did some crazy stuff in the gym. And once I got into wrestling, I cut down to about 285, 290, and that's when I first started my first MMA class. Was about 290 pounds, and ripped and shredded and big. And I got in there, and through all my wrestling days, there's a lot of cardio involved in wrestling. When you see a big, huge dude like myself at 290 pounds, solid muscle, you expect me to gas out pretty quickly. And because of my wrestling training, my professional wrestling training, I was able to last quite a bit. For full 2-hour class of grappling, straight on, never really took a break. I showed up again in the evening, did the same thing again, and everybody started calling me the experiment. You're like a machine. You're like the experiment. You don't quit. You just keep learning, keep getting better, and never quit. And then they find out about a week later that I was Polish, and that's kind of when somebody just yelled out, "Hey, man, it's a Polish experiment right there." And that's how it kind of all started.
Very cool. And somebody who knows something about MMA nicknames is our friend Donald, and he wants to jump in. So, Donald Hoover, I'm going to turn it to you.
Fair enough. So, being the fact, we talked last week, Krzysztof, hopefully you're waiting on that call to get back. What would be your dream fight on the one that you want to come back on?
My dream fight, I just want to test myself against the top guys in the 205-pound division. There's so many dream matchups there. Myself and Forrest Griffin, and I think would have a hell of a fight. It's who has got the best cardio. I would love to, even a legend like a Randy Couture, Shogun Rua, anybody. I'm really in the sport for one reason: it's to challenge myself, push myself not only mentally, but physically as well. And step in the cage against any of those top 10 guys would be a dream come true for me. Since day one, since I got into the sport, I've been told I got into the sport when I was 25 years old, and I never done any mixed martial arts before in my life. I've been told since day one when I got into the sport that I'll never make anything of this sport, of myself in this sport. And I proved a lot of people wrong. And, there's a lot of fighters out there who are just happy to get into the UFC and be part of it, and that's it. I'm very happy to be in the UFC, but I want to progress in the UFC. I want to leave something behind. I want to leave a mark behind where people will know who I am for a very long time. And, I might not be able to get a chance to fight for that title one day, but I definitely want to prove myself against some of the best fighters out there.